Leo. I'm Lizzy.
And I'm Izzy, and we need help.
Each week we stumble through a new book, method, or concept that brings us one step closer to being our best self.
Yes, we make fun of ourselves.
And others.
But mostly just ourselves. So here's to not taking self-help quite so seriously.
Welcome to We Need Help. I'm Lizzy.
And I'm Izzy, and today we are joined by my ride and die, my other bestie from the Westie, Maria!
Yeah! Maria!
Yes. Hi.
Nobody does it.
Other bestie. Okay.
The other
My
bestie.
The other bestie.
Polish bestie. Okay, that's good that you're not from here, and we can that's fine for me.
Yeah, that's my American bestie. This is my Polish bestie.
I don't even believe in Poland, so it's not even. It's not real.
We don't believe in it either.
Perfect. I live here.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Well,
so
welcome, Maria.
Hi.
I'm so
welcome,
happy.
everybody.
I'm so happy you're here.
I am happy I'm here. I just want to say I'm sorry for my English.
I'm sorry for mine as well. Sorry for mine.
Yeah.
And you're prettier than I thought you would be.
Oh my God, you're so pretty too.
Thank you.
You other friend.
So before we hopped on, Izza said one of her biggest fears is that we were going to meet and become better friends than she is with both of us.
Yeah, and then I was gonna be like, "Hey, Lizzy, are we recording today?" And she's like, I can't. I got a thing in my throat." And then her and Maria release episodes without me.
Well, everything is possible in magic land of Poland. That doesn't exist.
Alleged.
Yeah.
Poland. So, guys, today
I'm sorry, I keep forgetting about the forehead. I have a forehead, guys.
Oh,
you do have a forehead.
Yes.
It's a beautiful forehead.
It's such a beautiful forehead.
Thank you so much. No buttocks. Thank you.
Okay, so what are we doing with Maria?
We're talking about...
What are you doing with me?
We're talking about... We're talking about parenting today, specifically motherhood. I think the toughest hood in the world is motherhood. Those rappers that are talking about South Central LA didn't have a 3-year-old staying with them for a weekend. So that's what we're going to do. Yeah.
Can I say something?
Tough hood.
Sure.
Yeah.
So motherhood is the only hood that I have now. I don't know if you noticed, I am in my apartment, and it's not an apartment anymore. It's a fucking playground. I have a house. Yes. Yeah.
In your
home. That is made from carton. Yes. And I have a swing, and it's not a sex swing.
Yeah.
And this is my living room. And I have
that was a sex swing.
What is it? Goat? No, it's a sheep. And it's not even a real one.
Sheep.
It's
getting real kinky over there.
Yeah, you got a sheep. You got to not. Yeah.
I have
kinky.
It's a playground here. So for me, motherhood is the only hood.
It is the only hood.
Well, you're in the thick of it, though. How old is your little girl?
Yeah, let's do a qualifier.
She's about to be 3. Yeah.
Oh,
okay.
That's troubling times, man.
Yeah, Lizzy, you're a mother too, so let's do a qualifier. So Maria has a 3-year-old girl. Lizzy, how old's Scarlett for our listening audience?
She's 11 years old.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm in the easy part right now. I'm in the golden age.
I think I'm in the easy part.
Yeah, you're definitely in the easy part.
I have no children.
Well, yeah, you're in such an easy part because you have all these ideas of what it would be like, and they're all probably wrong.
Yeah, so the idea for this episode came
about after a weekend with me and my daughter, maybe it changed.
So this is where the idea for this episode came about. Maria came to visit me for a weekend in the countryside with her daughter. And I was in shock because I had never spent that much time with a 3-year-old and a mom. And I was just completely terrified. And so I called Lizzy. I'm like, is this normal? And she just laughed at me.
I'm like,
so I thought we need an
really
episode
normal.
where like non-parents can learn. Because what happened was I like gained so much more respect for Lizzy as a mom, for Maria as a mom, for all moms everywhere.
Yeah.
Because it is much harder than I thought.
Yeah.
Like much, much harder. So I want to learn from you guys, and I want you guys to share, you know, what's great, what's the struggle. Like, yeah, give it to me.
Well, I mean,
Well, first of all, what was so not normal?
We'll get to that.
Okay. Second of all, prettier than you thought?
yeah, I definitely thought you're not going to be this pretty.
Okay.
I think that of everybody,
Let's, what was the question?
Well, I think that what did you think parenting would be? You know, I know for me, I thought it, like I had these, my unique situation is when I was 18, I had a son, and he died of sudden infant death syndrome at 3 months old. So then for 16 years, I didn't have another child. So I had all these ideas of how it would be and how I would have done it and how perfect of a mother I would have been, to the point where I thought, like, I told my sister, she has 2 little girls who are awesome, and I told her that giving them sugar was like child abuse. I was so like opinionated on how you should have your child. And then once I had Scarlett, like all hell broke loose because you realize that you're not in charge at all. So,
Yeah,
I mean, you have these thoughts. What did you think it was going to be like, Maria?
Well, first of all, I'm so sorry for your, like, I know it was so long ago, but it's like you started with the information, and it changes the perspective a little bit, a lot. Mm-hmm. Well, first of all, nobody prepared me in motherhood for me as a mom. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, nobody tells you that, because everybody is talking about the being pregnant, what to expect when you're expecting. But like this fairy tale ends after birth. Nobody talks what's going on after, you know? Like, for example, I don't know if it's a correct word in English, postpartum. It's
postpartum. Yeah,
perfect.
Postpartum. I heard about it after birth. Maybe I am a little dummy and I didn't read much about after, because I wasn't thinking about it much. I was like, taking care of myself.
You read about breastfeeding.
No, I wasn't. I even wasn't, because for me, it was like I had no idea that there could be problems with breastfeeding. Actually, I didn't have problems with breastfeeding, so I'm not in that, subject very, it wasn't my problem. But nobody told me, for example, that this mother instinct, you don't have it all the time. You just, you know what I mean? It's like you have these moments when you have it, but in one sentence, you have no clue what to do. You have no idea how to react, how to do things. And I don't know why I didn't think about it much. But what I've, absorbed in my mind or in my body, it's that I don't have to think about it because it will be natural.
No, that's what you thought it would be like. You thought it was going to be just really natural.
Like, I will know because I am a mother. So when you're a mother, you just know.
Yeah.
No. You don't know.
You become
even
dumber.
More. Yeah, you become dumber. Like hormones aside.
Yeah.
I am now 3. My daughter is 3. I don't know if we said it. So I am a young mom. I'm not that young, but I am I have 3 years of experience. So, and I still don't know. And if there is a day that I think that I know. There is after that. There is 5 minutes later. I don't know another thing.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? It's like
my friend
you
Stephanie
never know.
said, I never knew I could be so wrong.
Yeah, exactly.
That's motherhood. I mean, like, if you could ever just realize that, like, they don't come with a manual. Each one has a soul. Each one has their own agenda, and while they're here either to teach or to learn for different things. And it's, you know, the minute you start to get the hang of, you know, a phase that they're going, they change phases. It's just like, it's trying to,
Exactly.
it's like there is no rhyme or reason. And I think if you can give up that, you're going to be okay, because like none of it makes any sense.
Okay,
Yeah,
what was like I'm going to ask questions because I want to learn. Is there anything that's like really surprised you? Like, what surprised me, Maria, I remember you came over, it was like shortly after you gave birth, and you said your body was like softer. And I didn't realize that happened. Like, I knew that like after the pregnancy you gained weight or something, but like your joints and everything was like all like soft and different things like that where you don't realize.
Well, if you think about it, like your hips have to open to get that baby's noggin out of you, unless you go,
Actually,
unless you
I
go
had a
civilized and have a
C-section.
cesarean. But still, your body did that. Your
Yeah,
body got
but
ready for it.
See, every question that you will ask is kind of, I can answer it for me, and Lizzy can answer it for her, but it can be know your experience. You know what I mean? It's like my it was my body and it was a little softer. It's my experience, but your body can get tightener. I don't know. Like,
Well, I think like you can talk. We can talk about the physical parts of motherhood.
Yeah.
That's not why we're here. Everybody's body does the same thing. Everybody, like, I mean, we're all having baby. Like, milk comes out of your nipples.
What I was going for, Lizzy, what I was going for is like, no answer that I will give you is an ultimate answer.
Right.
Like, it's a general. There is no, and this is for me personally. It was something that if I knew, I would be much more calmer. Like, because that I have to be open for freaking everything, and everything is okay, and everything is normal for now, for me.
Yeah.
Because, for example, there was this thing with damer, like a smoczek. How do you say it?
Pacifier.
Yeah.
Pacifier.
Because to pacify means to calm down.
Okay, so I never heard this word like in my life. So what I was thinking is, I don't know why and from where, but I thought that she needs to have this pacifier, you know, in her mouth. That babies have it. Like, you see babies and they have it in their mouth. So I was, you know, she didn't want it. I was like, she doesn't want it. Blah, blah, blah. And then, I don't know, I heard someone talking about different things that babies do, and I was like, wow, my baby just doesn't like it, and it's okay. It's even better.
Yeah, I wanted Scarlett to have one because there were some reports that said that it, like, you know, fewer children died of SIDS with a pacifier, but Scarlett would not take it. She just would not have it, and like, she wanted me to be her pacifier. So that's basically how we rolled for, I don't know, a while.
Yeah. But what I learned from this was that my baby is an individual person, like you said, with a soul, with a character, with wants and needs. It's not just, it's a baby and you have an instruction how to use it.
It's not a blender.
Because you're not using baby. And it's like everybody is different. You know what I mean? It's like us. You like salty, you like sweet, and I like sour. And we are different. And babies are different. And if the baby doesn't want the pacifier, you just don't give it to it. And it's okay. You know, but I was stressing. And the other thing, and the other thing was, I was stressing about teeth, walking, eating,
Yeah.
this all things that we all
Fucking
adults.
stress
Do
about
you know
everything.
any adult that is still breastfeeding, like breast, on breast, or do you know any adult who?
I know several men that have never been fully weaned.
Okay,
Yes.
that's another story, right? But you know what I mean? It's like the teeth will grow. Eventually, this baby will walk. Eventually, this baby will lose the pielushka, the
Diaper.
the
Yeah.
pamper diapers. You know,
Okay,
it
so
will eventually happen. You
here's
don't need to force. Yeah.
here's the Scarlet way of doing things. She's never ever done anything normally. It's a joke that we have to say, but like I didn't potty train her. I just didn't do it. It seemed like a pain in the ass. I was like, so I'm just not doing it. It didn't work. And one day I said, oh, I got to get diapers. And she said, don't get those. I said, why? You're down to one. And she said, I'm not using those anymore. I said, okay. And she never pissed her pants or did anything. That's the way
How
she
old
does
was
things.
she?
She was 3. And it was just like, I never stressed out once, not once about her, like I didn't feel on a timeline. Now, every other mother was like shaming me on this, but like, you can choose to make it hard or you can choose to make it not hard.
I love that. That is so important because I had no idea. Like, I think people like to categorize so they feel safer, but this has opened my mind. Like, there is no throw out all the playbooks, like, just go with the flow.
That's your choice.
I like
That's
that.
your only choice. Or you can fight it and be miserable and your kid's miserable and your mate is miserable. You can just go with it or you can not go with it. Just like the rest of the world and life, you can fight it all the way, but it's not going to be pretty.
Yeah. What do you guys think is like let's do best of, worst of. So what has been, let's start with the worst so we can end on a positive note. What has been like the worst thing about like parenting? What's been the hardest? Maybe not the worst, but the hardest thing. Well, I know that's hard, right? So some of the things that are just really hard.
Because there are phases. And it's like everything is in a phase. And when the phase starts, everything is like the worst for me. But when it ends, I kind of get used to it and it's no longer, and you know what I mean? It's like...
I mean, let's be clear. This is a Stockholm Syndrome situation. Like, you love the person who's holding your hostage more than anything. That's what parenting is.
Yeah, this is the thing. Yeah.
You can't leave them, and you love them so much, and sometimes they're really mean to you and abusive.
Yeah,
you saw my daughter throwing a plate with broccoli and pasta on my face. Yeah, and I was like really calm, Maria, and and she was like,
"This is where I texted Lizzy because." So, like, I'll explain to the listeners what had happened. So Maria spent literally like an hour making this lovely meal for her daughter,
while
and she was like
sleeping.
cutting out shape while she was sleeping. She was cutting out shapes out of carrots. She made this like ravioli. She was like making all this stuff, made a beautiful plate, handed it to her daughter, who woke up, and her daughter threw it in her face. And I was like, for me, I was like, oh no, she didn't. No, she didn't.
She messaged me about this and said, "Is it normal?" Couldn't believe it. I showed it to Jason. I go, "Look at this bullshit." Oh yeah, that's normal. Yeah, that's really normal.
No, because I didn't.
But you know what? It's like I had it before. And I stopped doing this cutting shapes and everything. But I was on the vacation, on vacation with you. I had a great time. I had time to do this, so I did it. Mm-hmm. And I was open for her to throw it on me, or I was open for her to eat it. or throw it on the floor. Like, I was prepared for everything, but it was a pleasure for me. That's why my reaction was like this calm. But you didn't see my first reaction when she did it for the first time.
Yeah.
I was like,
Ah.
why? I mean, 5 hours soup, and it's organic, and it's really healthy, and
so
why?
expensive, and you spent all
And
this
then-
time on it.
Yeah, and then you just buy these little jars, and you just say, fuck it. And then you
Yeah.
cook again, because you love it so much. And this is what Lizzy said. For me, it's not maybe the worst thing, but it's like really, I can't get used to it, that all these contradiction feelings.
Well, and I think
really
it's really
miss-
important, like at this point, like to understand you don't get into parenting for approval. Like it is rejection after rejection after rejection, and you have to remain centered in yourself. It challenges those things inside you. It challenges those weak spots inside you. Bad.
I have to say that as a
But
non-parent, I gained so much respect for Maria, for you. Like, it made me love you so much more, and Lizzy too, because I was like, this has to take all the strength in the world.
It does.
Yeah, and for me, it was like
it has
really,
to, like, from the core.
yeah, from this contradiction feelings that I want to be alone. I want to be, just leave me alone. Don't touch me. I want to be alone. I want to get into the plane and just fly away. And then my mom takes Gaia. Her name is Gaia. And 5 minutes later, I'm like, I miss her so much.
Yeah. It's an mothering is an oxymoron.
And you
Yeah,
are
that's
never,
interesting.
for me, this is the troubling thing, is that I will never be super okay for a long time. I will worry after an hour, or, every time you have this dingo. Did she eat? Is she warm? Is she cold? Is she, and it's all, like what to do for dinner. Did she eat veggies today? It's
It's all the details,
time.
man.
Yeah, so
especially
Lizzy,
with the younger kid,
yeah.
because I think, I hope so, that when they grow up, you don't have all the, because, they can take care of themselves sometimes, like making a sandwich or whatever. Gaia can do it, right? So,
Right.
like,
Well, my number one thing, like the hardest thing for me about parenting is I miss being alone. Like I miss being able to be alone, and you just cannot. Like even when you're alone, you're haunted with this little person who truly is made from you. That is you on the outside. Like that is as simple as that. Even if you're adopted, your heart is connected to this human being that you're solely responsible for, and you love more than anything. Like I will say this, I love Scarlett more than anybody else on earth. That doesn't matter. My partner, it's not even close to being the same. So like, I can't be alone now. Like even when I'm alone, I am not alone.
Yeah,
I think
Maria was talking about that too.
But what needs to be said is, we love that creatures a lot. But what was a shocker for me is, especially at the beginning when she was screaming like crazy because something, I don't know, because she is a worm. She doesn't talk. You don't know what's going on. And so you have these feelings that what the fuck did I get into? I don't want to be here.
Yeah.
I don't like this.
You feel like you got the Tinder swindler, didn't you?
Yeah, and I'm like, what? Did I make a mistake? The biggest mistake of my life? Is my life over? My life is over.
Your life is over.
And you need to know that these feelings and these thoughts they will come. They will fucking come. And I don't know. I know some moms that told me that it's not true. I love it. And it's okay, but I don't believe that even one time, like, you didn't have this thought that I want to go back to my old life. I don't want it.
Of course.
I don't want it.
If you haven't felt like that, then your old life sucked.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, this is a great one.
You know what? I just consider these bitches. Their old life sucked. They haven't learned to be alone yet, and they haven't learned to love themselves
Yeah.
yet. If they don't miss themselves in some capacity, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah,
What do you
and
guys
what
miss
the
as mothers? What do you miss the most besides alone time? Is there anything else that you like really miss
I
from
mean, just the
life?
freedom to do whatever you want. You
Yeah.
cannot do that anymore.
spontaneous, to be spontaneous,
Yeah, yeah,
Spontaneous.
yeah. Good.
yeah.
I miss that
Uh,
too.
yeah, and I miss that. Uh, I don't know if there isn't even a word for it, what I feel, because I will never feel it again, because I am a mom.
Hmm.
That I am
Yeah,
free, like in general, like
you
not to
cannot
just
be
to do stuff,
self-centered.
just to be in this place. You know what? For example, for me, it's like I didn't know what mom I will be, and I didn't know what a human being I am, because
Hmm.
everything before Gaia was a little fake, a little bullshit, because it wasn't in the confrontation of this super reality that is a baby. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
I mean, my baby, it wasn't fake, but I was, mm, when I was alone, but when I was in the out world, I had these roles. Now, I don't have time for this. You know
Yeah.
what I mean?
You're naked. You
Really?
really are. You're
Yes,
naked.
I am naked all the time,
Hmm.
because I don't have time to, maybe I don't know what example, but you know what I mean, Lizzie? Like,
Yeah. I mean, you can't bullshit
that it's a,
because
it's a
they're gonna.
confrontation. You can tell everybody, I'm so patient. I'm so patient. And then you have a baby,
Mhm.
and all of a sudden, your patience is like, where is your patience? I want to go.
Yeah.
And this little kid, but I don't want to wear this. I don't want to wear that. And all of a sudden, you can be patient. And I think it's like with everything, like with every relationship. With relationship, when you are
You
alone,
definitely
yeah,
are a different version of yourself, a more
yeah.
real, um, a more true version of yourself, and it's not always pretty. And I think that that's really like that's got to be
I wouldn't
okay.
say that you are a more true version, because I think it can hurt people that don't have kids, don't want to have kids, that they will never be true. I don't agree that it's not. This is the only true version, but
Hmm.
it's a version that you cannot escape from,
Yeah.
because when you don't have a kid, you can pretend a little bit, because nobody is mirroring you. It's the same thing is the same thing is with a relationship. When you are a single person, like, okay, you can pretend that you don't throw your things on the floor, because nobody sees it. But when you are in a relationship, after month, they will see that you are throwing the things on the floor. You know what I mean? So I don't know if it's like a true version, but it's like a different version, because of this little mirror that you have.
This tiny little mirror.
And yeah, and I think it's a roller coaster, for not for everyone. If I knew,
Yeah.
and the thing happens, I know what I want to say, but I already have guilt,
Yeah.
because I want to
Yeah.
say,
It's okay
if
to say it. It's okay to say. I know what
if
you're gonna say.
I knew what what it is to be a parent and mother, I wouldn't, have the strength to do it consciously. And I think
Right.
that's why you don't hear some things. My sister, she has 3 kids, and she told me a lot of this, but I didn't hear it,
Yeah, I didn't either because
because
my
I
sister
was
had these too.
like,
I watched it.
oh
I
yeah, she's,
helped.
yeah,
I
yeah.
didn't see it.
And because this is not your experience, so you like, and I thought, I will be a parent that will, put this movies like fairy tales, all these things,
Cartoons. Yeah. Yeah, yeah.
cartoons, only on Sundays.
Oh,
Yeah,
every
Sunday is
day's
every day.
Sunday. And this
Like,
bitch.
every day is a
Every day is
Sunday.
Sunday.
So yeah, so it's like I completely lost myself.
Well, you
Okay,
were
I think
saying
it's
like,
time to take a
yeah,
break. And let's take a
Oh
break.
yeah,
let's
Quick
take a
break,
fancy
banter
yeah.
break.
break.
My
And we'll come
espresso.
back.
Yeah.
And I would love to talk about the positive.
Yeah.
And like what's great about it. So let's do
All
that when
right.
we come back.
Yeah.
Poor Izza's uterus is like packing its bags.
I gotta go get my uterus. It just is running out the
It's
door
running
into the
out the
cold
door.
to just curl up and hide.
It's packed some brown bags, some Polish luggage. All right, we'll be right back. Welcome back.
Welcome back from the banter break. Today, our guest is Maria, and we're talking about parenting. So, I think what I want to know as a potential future parent is like, what are the best things about parents? Like, what is the joy for you? Why should anyone do this?
Well, let me answer first.
What do you think?
For me, it was like, you literally get to rediscover the entire world through this little creature's eyes. And it's extremely cool. It's a really cool thing to do. And you get to allow, well, I mean, you could do two things. I think one's right and one's wrong. You get to allow this soul to come to its fruition in this life right in front of you. And that can be really, really magical. I think you don't want to build a person. Like I think that you can get into trouble there because that's not really real, because they already came to the world perfectly themselves. But you get to discover this creature that picked you, in my opinion. And that's a really unique thing to experience. And you learn so much about yourself and the world. What do you think? What do you think, Maria?
Yeah, I completely agree that because you are talking from the perspective of the older child also, because my Gaia is, she's talking a lot, but she's still really small, and she's, it's like obvious for me that kids are here and now, and they are like really, like about everything. And if you want to throw something, you throw something, and you're like they are themselves all the time because they are like babies. And and this is amazing to see it, but for me, and to experience it, but for me this, and especially lately when she is a little older and she's like more self-aware and more aware of the world around her and me, and she's choosing her words differently, and she's this, I am surprised every day, like 50 million times a day, what she's doing and what she's talking and what she, like how she sees things, what you said, and that she is so smart, and that she, for example, I think we are a generation in Poland, magical Poland, like this mythical Poland,
alleged Poland,
that legit, that were raised in this thinking that children doesn't hear what you say near them. Like you're talking and this is the kid, but you do not acknowledge kids. When our parents was a little bit like this, like they don't hear us. And I'm talking to my my fiance, and she remembers a lot of things, or she remembers where I put something, for example. Like it's, and for me, this is every day is like, it's a miracle that this human being, we created it, and it's living by itself, and it's like, it's crazy.
Yeah.
Crazy.
So weird. It's so
when
weird.
you think about it, because you don't think about it. Like, okay, it's a natural thing. Like you get pregnant, you get birth, and then you raise this kid, blah, blah. But it's amazing what she's growing on, in front of your eyes. Start thinking, like you start copying what you're doing. So you need to be careful what you do. That's why you're becoming a better you. You know what? It's like a little embarrassing, but let's be real, guys.
Yeah.
Every time I am peeing and getting up, not every time before Gaia, I was washing my hands. But now I'm like, do you want her to wash her hands? It's literally, this is the thinking that I have when I'm getting up.
Yeah.
I have to wash my hands, and I'm washing it every time, even if she's not around, because I'm training myself not to do this by accident, not to wash my hands when I get up.
I love it.
Yeah.
Because when you
I
are a
love it.
parent, Isa, you never pee or poop alone.
And that's the
You
joy.
need to know that. Like, that's open. Like, it's the I mean, maybe not in the USA, but in Poland, it's like really, like, your kid is going into the bathroom. I don't know.
Oh, I think
Yeah.
that's everywhere. Yeah, I think
Okay,
that's everywhere.
thank you.
So
Because you had the
Yeah.
space, and I was like, oh my God, it's only me.
no, it's not that's another thing about motherhood. It's never only you. We just either try to act perfect or we try to act real. One of the two.
Well,
And
but
it's
the thing is, the positive things, because it's that it's the best therapy that you can have for free, or not so much for free, but I am learning about myself so much, and I am coming back to me as a child, because I want to understand her. I want to know what she maybe needs as a child. What would I need as a child, not as an adult, for my comfort? And what it does is creates a bond. I never had this bond with anybody.
Yeah.
Like,
Nor did you ever want it, but
I didn't know that it exists
it
in
didn't.
me.
No.
Do you guys think, and this is a weird question, sorry, I'm because I really want to learn, like, is it possible, and I hope like adoptive parents won't kill me for this one, but is it possible to have that with an adopted child?
It's impossible not to.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because I'm afraid, like, not that I'm afraid, but like I've been really thinking about adoption, and I'm just,
It's the
yeah,
same.
I'm wondering, it's the
I
same.
don't think
I've seen it. I've
connected
seen it
exactly. I don't think it's connected exactly with giving birth.
No.
I think
Okay.
it's connected with being responsible for another human being in a way, and
Yes.
to want this human being to have the best life that it can have. I think that this is more like, I never adopted
It's
a child,
love.
so I can't say, like,
Yeah.
it's love, exactly. And it's a little
Okay.
similar, like, with a relationship, when you have a relationship with love in general, and with friends, with your men, with your parents,
With your men.
it's a little different scale.
With all your men.
With all your men. But it's like, but what kid does for me is completely reducing the, maybe not completely, but the ego has to be really small.
Yeah.
What sometimes is not a really good thing, because for me, like, I forgot about myself for a while, and it's not a good thing either. Like, because you want to have this balance, right? But
So okay, I think I understand, and I really appreciate
I think
you guys sharing that. Lizzy, would you add anything to that?
Well, I mean, so I raised Scarlett for the first 5 years of her like active life. We moved there when she was two, in the Virgin Islands, and they have a totally different way of parenting down there, especially like the people who moved down there. I got to raise her almost in a feral way. I breastfed her for 4.5 years. Not a lot of people can say that, like, just, it was anything goes. And I remember I walked into the Walgreens, and there was this one West Indian guy there, and he bowed at Scarlett, and I was like, well, wow. He goes, well, we're wrong about the way we do things now, like the presidents and the queens and kings and all this. He said, these are our kings and queens. These are the ones that we should be kneeling at the foot of. And it was a shift because like they are here to teach us. They are here to guide us. They're the ones that aren't messed up. We're the ones that are messed up. But like Gaia and Scarlett aren't messed up. They came here perfectly the way they're supposed to be. And they're the chosen ones. You know, like they're anointed. And I always think of that when I think of Scarlett, like when she's having a problem, this is my problem. This is not hers. You know, like she's already perfect. I'm just trying not to screw that up. You know?
Yeah.
It's
I love that.
Yeah.
And another positive thing for me is that you not learn, but you want to do a lot of fun things. Like it's not because you want to do. I want to do it with Gaia, so I am looking for fun places. I am really active in life. I live. I
love that.
Yeah, and this is for me. This is the best because I have a tendency to like wallow in my sorrows and to self pity, and I'm like I am really, oh Maria. So, and I can, sit on the couch and cry for days. I'm not doing it anymore that much because I don't want to waste time. No, I am doing it. Let's be clear. I am doing it. I am doing it.
Just you can't do it as much.
Because, I am doing it. It can be funny, but I am doing it because I have a reason, not because I am thinking of problems. Because I am tired.
Do you ever go in the bathroom and just cry?
Time. Yeah. And
do you ever go to the bathroom and cry?
Yes, of course.
Oh, I do it all the time.
5 minutes. Okay, but I'm not pretending.
Do you look in the mirror and say, "Get it together"? Do you give yourself a pep talk? I'll be like,
I am trying
you need
to be
get
more
your shit together right now.
I was doing it, but now I am working on my compassion, and I am working on being honest with Gaia, with my feelings, and I am trying not to hide my feelings, but I'm trying not to show her like hysteric or panic attack or whatever. But when she saw me crying, and I am telling her, "Mommy is sad. Sad is normal," and blah blah blah. I'm trying to normalize the feelings that we have. But anyway, like I start living, like the life got real, and the real life sometimes is just ugly, but you need to normalize ugly to get real in life for me. Because I was living in a bubble for a long time, and it was like a good bubble, but it didn't lead me anywhere.
That bubble like on Wizard of Oz that comes floating in. That was my bubble.
So guys, we're gonna read a book, right? I think it's called, what is it called?
The Connection.
Lizzy, this is the Connect. Yeah. Sorry. We're
leading with love, not fear. Do I remember good?
No, it's sorry, I have it right here. Connection Parenting by Pam Leo. So Lizzy, because we talked about this earlier, like how self-help books kind of sometimes don't help because, Lizzy, you talked about this. You start comparing yourself to other parents. You compare your kid to other kids. There's just comparison everywhere, and that sort of destroys the joy of parenting.
It's parenting suicide is comparison.
The comparison.
Yeah, and I just think that this book that we're reading, I have read it cover to cover several times. I use it as a Bible sometimes. Sometimes I used to, especially when she was 3, or I think 3 to 5 is the red zone of parenting, because you're kind of in shock. You don't know, you can't believe this is happening sometimes. And so I would go over to it and just open it and look at it, and it would help me connect instead of disconnect, because we have decisions every day, hundreds of times a day, that we can either connect or disconnect with the soul. And our entire purpose is to connect. That's what our purpose in life is. So I would use this as such a tool, and it it made me such a better version of myself. And I just can't wait to
This
share.
book that we are talking about.
Yes,
Yep.
this is
Yeah.
this is my touchstone parenting book. And
Yeah, that's why we chose this book, because we talked about other self-help books that they give you tools. And Maria, you were talking about this, and you're like, okay. And then you don't use the tool, or you can't use it, or it doesn't work for you, and then you feel like an even bigger failure.
I feel like it's virtuous signaling. A lot of these stupid assholes that write these books are just trying to prove that they're good parents.
You know what? I am in a different place now when I was like this 2 years ago when it comes to self-help books, self-parenting books.
Mm-hmm.
I was recently on this workshop about anger, kids' anger. And what I realized is that when I reached for these books, I wanted the solution right away, and I had no time for the process. And what happened is, for the 3 years, I was in the process of understanding some more, and that's why these tools I can use them more efficiently. Like they started to work sometimes, because it's really frustrating when you cannot say to your kid when it's in the middle of the tantrum, like, get into the position of the child and say, I understand you. I feel your pain. I know that you didn't get your ice cream, and that's why you are very sad. And this kid is like, oh, yes, mom, thank you that you are so empathetic. Your empathy is great, yeah? And the parenting help, these books, they sometimes you think that you will use a phrase and it will magically stop, making your child cry or whatever, and it doesn't. What it does, it doesn't work. But you know why it doesn't work? Because you want to use it, and it's working only, in my experience, when you are aware of what's going on with you, and you have to think of your need first, and then if your need is satisfied, like zaspokojona, then you can use the tool. And for me, it was a long process to learn, but it actually works, because when she's crying that she wanna watch this cartoon, one more cartoon, and I have this rule: no, one cartoon only, and you have to, end it. Right? Go to bed. But there is one day that I'm telling this. Okay, we are ending the cartoon, but inside it's like, oh my God, it would be so great if she would watch one more cartoon, because I need to, I don't know, relax or do the dishes or whatever. So I'm contradicting myself. It won't work. She will be like, no, I don't want it. Because she has this emotional Wi-Fi that she feels. She's like, I have the subtitles here. True. What mommy really thinks. And she's not responding for my words. But when I'm confident that I did everything, and I'm telling her, baby, let's go to the bathtub, and she's like, okay. But when I sync with my words and what I need, when my need is for her to go to bathroom, and it's really in sync with me, it works.
Interesting.
But, yeah, and this is, I learned it recently, but for this, I needed the process. You cannot do it without the process. It's like with the steps in AA or, 12 steps. You need the steps. You cannot do it like, okay, I will do this thing and the result will be this.
Okay, interesting.
You need to go, you need to have you need to respect the process. And it sucks. It freaking sucks.
Yeah,
because
you can't fake it.
It's like,
and you can't skip steps, and you can't. Yeah, I agree.
God,
so
I can't feel myself today.
What do you've already read this book, Lizzy. You said it was sort of like your Bible. What are you hoping to get out of kind of looking at it again and exploring it
it's
again?
a reminder, because like as much as we want to say, like, we want to do this, we want to respect the process, you always fall down. And so it's always just a great reminder
Yeah.
to remember why we're in this, what the actual goal is, how, like for Scarlett, I haven't raised her like everybody else because I didn't want a child or a human being like everyone else. I wanted her. So like it's
like
a
not
great
trained human being, but
Yeah.
your daughter.
Yes, I
That's
wanted her
beautiful.
to be Scarlett. And so
That's
like,
what I want.
yes.
Yeah.
That's exactly
That's
what
what I
I think we all really truly want. I mean, unless like, I mean, you get some of these cave people that are like, my child is going to do exactly as I say. And, they're just they're training
Because you know what?
monkeys.
It's easier to be with someone that is doing what you want them to do. It's easier. That's
Oh
why.
my God. Do you know, like one time we were walking, Scarlett was 3 years old, and we were walking down this beautiful ocean view, and she wanted to go one way and I wanted to go another, and she bit me. She got pissed and bit me, and I like out of instinct just whacked her and like backhanded her in the mouth, which I got to say was a parenting low. But I also kind of had a lot of, compassion for myself and justification that if anyone ever bites her, I want her to backhand them in the mouth. So one, two, that night she cleaned the entire house and was like so obedient. And I got the allure of hitting your children. I got the
You kind of understood it a little.
I understood it because it was easier. And that scared me. That scared me because I don't want you, like, for me, I don't, like, whatever you do you with your kids. And I don't even want to fucking argue about it. But like, for me, someone who says that they love you they don't hit you. They don't. So like,
and you want your daughter to do things because she wants to do them, not because she's afraid of you, right?
Right. We don't have a fear-based home. And I grew up in, like, I had a stepdad that I was afraid of a lot. So it was just like, I don't want to, this house is not a hostile environment. This home is a loving environment. You should feel safe here. But I got it for the first time, like where I was like, oh my God, this is why people hit their children. It's like, oh.
Guys, yeah.
This book is good, though. I think everyone's going to love it. And you can learn, anybody who reads it, you don't have to be a parent. You're going to learn to compassionately connect to people. And that's a huge deal.
Yeah. I love this episode, guys. I just want to thank you for like helping me understand better as well, because I had no clue. As a person with no children, you judge. This is funny. You judge people's parenting.
Exactly. I did it.
Yeah, like you really do. And then what I just love is I want to thank you, Maria, for coming over with Gaia that weekend, because I just saw it is the toughest job, and it is really takes so much strength, and it is much harder to respond with love and compassion rather than. Because when she threw that plate at you, like, I had to go to the other room because I was like, I was mad, and you responded in such a loving way. And that's big.
When she told me the story about it, I was like, she's killing it. She's killing it as a mom, because that is not easy.
She's like, that is an awesome mom.
Yep.
But the thing is, for me, what I am learning here is like respond with love, but in the same... at the same time to show her the boundaries, that you don't do it. Like, okay, I will pick this and I won't scream at you and everything, but I don't want you to do it. I did it with,
which is why
it's my time, it's everything.
You did it you did it very calmly.
Yeah, and I am learning, And thank you for this weekend because of this weekend, I was able to high five myself as a mom because I had a witness.
so
I was
good.
high fiving you.
You know what
Yeah.
I mean? I had
Yeah.
a witness, and it wasn't my, not husband, my husband or whatever,
Fiance.
her father.
Yeah.
It wasn't my mom. It wasn't someone. It was you, and you don't spend so much time with us. And I was able to see myself with your eyes, and I was like, I'm killing it. And I went to Warsaw by myself at night, and I picked her and put her to bed, like all the story. I won't bore you guys, but
Yeah.
I was like, it was the middle of the night, and I sit down in my apartment. I was like, I'm okay, like I am doing good.
And maybe we should all take a little card out of that deck and say, okay, give moms compliments, man, because
Yeah.
They need it.
Yeah, we need it. I always say to Jason, honey, I need you to tell me I'm doing okay here. And like we have to do that for each other because these little Tasmanian devils, they're not going to give you a compliment when you need it. They're just not.
No, they won't.
And
all right, I cannot
they
wait to
will
do this book.
when you're not expecting it.
Yes,
You know what I mean?
exactly. That's what I said.
This is like
they
the
will.
same. They won't, but they will. Like when you least expect it, it's like, Mommy, you're so sweet. I love you. And you're like,
Yeah. Oh God, I
Oh.
can't believe it. She saw that I was dying.
yeah. Like last night, she asked me. I was reading her book, and she was like, all of a sudden, she was like, she looked at me and, are you comfortable? Like because I was like in this position, and she's like, are you comfortable? Do you want a pillow?
I'm like, when have you ever given a shit about that, kid?
Yeah. What's wrong? What do you want? What do you want? So, Lizzy, you kind of want to reaffirm what you already learned from this book. Maria, is there anything that you hope to gain from reading this book, or anything that you want to kind of?
No, what I learned is have no hopes, no expectations. I will just read it and I will just read it and
see what happens.
If it happens, it happens. Like I am open for one book to help me or not.
I love it.
I'll
and that's
see.
the approach, I think.
That's basically motherhood.
Yes.
Hope for the best. All right, guys. Well, I love you both.
And we'll see you next Tuesday.
Yeah, for the after episode, after we read the book. And if you want to read along with us, the book is Connection Parenting by Pam Leo.
Yep.
See you next Tuesday.
Right.
Love you guys. Thank you,
Love
Maria,
you.
for being such a
Maria.
great guest.
Thank you so much,
See you
guys.
next Tuesday.
Thank you so much.
You're killing it.
Thank you so much for spending your time with us. Rate and follow us if you like us. If you don't, please don't.
And come visit us at www.theweneedhelppodcast.com. There you can find show notes, links for books. You can join Audible, which is, how we actually read our books. We listen to them. And we have special exclusive content just for you. Also, feel free to subscribe to our Patreon account. That's where you can support us financially because we need it. And it can be anywhere from $1 to $100 billion a month, whatever you can afford. And the link to our Patreon account is www.patreon, and that's spelled patreon.com/We Need Help Podcast. And you can support us on there. We would really appreciate it because we do need help.
Awesome. And we will see you next Tuesday.
See you next Tuesday. Thanks,
Bye.
loves. Bye.